Hey everybody. Um, as most of you are already know, and most of you Eritreans probably know by now, this marks 34 years since Eritrea achieved their independence after defeating Ethiopia and the Dergs at May 24th, 1991. Um, Basically, I known a lot of people in my family, my bloodline, that lost their lives or suffered, permanent injuries and, a lot of trauma during that 30-year struggle. And a lot of them risked their lives and a lot of them sacrificed their lives for the promise of a better future for all Eritreans, and not just in the country, but all over the world. Sadly, in the 34 years in achieving the independence, we've gone backwards in the worst way possible. We already know all the hardships and all the brutal details that the dictatorship has done to our people. And I don't need to go into deep details on that. You already know by now. If you don't, then forget you. But what really, when I think about today, I find it very, very dumbfounded and heartbreaking to the fact that when I was looking around TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and some on X, there's still plenty of Eritrean, people that are still waving those red, green, blue, and yellow flags. And some of them were even showboating, the dictatorship's mural during their celebrations. And I just sit there and just dumbfounded to the fact, you guys just really just are too brainwashed and you're just too ignorant to see what's happened to you. And the sad part is there have been a lot of people that not just in America, but also in Canada and Europe, or even in every areas of the world, that literally continue to dismiss and deny all the hardships and brutality that we've been through. And nothing has ever changed. Nothing has changed in the 34 years. But the one thing I will say, that the one, silver lining to this thing here is that thankfully there are a lot more Eritrean youth now that are speaking about it. They're more boisterous about it. They're expressing their trauma, their hardships. They're going into full details of the experiences that they went through. Obviously, we've seen documentaries about it, so obviously the evidence is out there for everybody to watch. And my hope for in the next decade, and my hope for as I get older as a man, that the people of Eritrea will finally unite together, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, regardless of what tribe, ethnicity, or any religion, whatever. It doesn't matter. My hope for is that we can all unify together and fight this problem right in front of us and build a better foundation for the next generations of Eritreans that are going to come after us. Because my target is the next generation. And what my hope is that the teachings that I'm showing to the children, to younger teenagers, to younger adults, my hope for is that the lessons that I give them, outside of social media, will have an impact on their decisions and how they research and how they can ask questions or how they can voice their perspectives without having the fear of being, ridiculed or having, threats all over social media, the whole 100 yards. And my hope for is that we continue this path of uniting together and voicing ourselves. And someday soon, man, when Eritrea is finally free from the dictatorship, that I can finally visit the country and visit in peace and not have the fear of being arrested or fear of being kidnapped and tortured, and without having any suspicions all over me because of because of my stances. So, but just because I lived in America all my life and never spoken to Greenham does not mean that I don't know what's going on. And a lot of the people that have followed me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, they have been so impressed with my intellect and the ability just to listen and understand their trauma. Now, I can't physically, see what happened to you at that time, but I have a much more sympathy and empathy of the things that people have went through in Eritrea. And my hope for is that the children that I'm going to try to teach and try to direct and guide will be able to make proper decisions and be able to take control of their own empowerment and become better people in our Eritrean society. And at least I try to do that on my platforms and in my areas of life. And my hope for is that as we, come together for these 34 years of Eritrean independence, that we continue down this road of just having these conversations, empowering people to speak up on their stories, having the ability to protest for freedom and protest for independence and protest for a better way of life. That's my hope for as we, go embark on 34 years. So I know what I'm gonna do, and I hope most of you that are listening to this video know what they're gonna have to do. And we cannot live in fear. The one thing that I will always say is that you cannot live your life in fear. You have to be able to take a stand for something in life. You have to be able to stand up for those who can't speak for themselves. And that's what my energy, my focus, and my drive is always at. I'm always going to speak for the people that can't speak for themselves. So much love to all my Eritrean brothers and sisters all over the world, and God bless.